Good morning, everyone. Good morning on Saturday morning. Very happy to see you, even though we are from different locations. Yeah. Welcome to our webinar. My name is Thida Chaiyapa. I am the lecturer, assistant professor, and assistant director of Chiang Mai University School Public Policy, and also the head of the research unit called Hope C. You can see from my background. Happy to see you and many familiar faces and also new friends that will come and join us today. Today we're gonna have a very exciting and fruitful discussion together on the very critical topic about climate change and coffee business in Southeast Asia, especially on the focusing on the policy, how we can drive the policy and action toward climate adaptation in coffee business in our region, Southeast Asia. Okay, today we have many interesting speakers from different locations in Southeast Asia, and also the special speakers from GIZ Thailand. I will give the stage to Mr. Francis to introduce everyone นะคะ Thank you ค่ะ Mr. Francis over to you.
Thank you, Ajahn Thida. Welcome everybody to our webinar. My name is Francis Tarmedi. I'm Program Coordinator for Regional Dialogue from the Heinrich-Böll-Stiftung Southeast Asia Regional Office. We would like to welcome you all. Allow me to introduce our speakers for today's webinar. The first one, Dr. Nana Kuenkel, Coordinator for Agriculture and Food Cluster from the GIZ Thailand, the Deutsche Gesellschaft für Internationale Zusammenarbeit, or the German Corporation for International Cooperation, alongside together with Pochamarn Wongsanga. She is the Project Director of Agriculture and Food Cluster for GIZ Thailand, the same. They will talk about building climate resilient coffee landscapes, lesson from scaling regenerative Robusta coffee in Thailand. That is our first panel. The second one, we also lucky to have Kun Kamonwat Tobun Chuai. He is the Coffee and Beverage Development Manager from Bon Cafe, Thailand. He will present about integrating waste management and low carbon strategies into Thailand coffee sector policy. And also all the way from Bogor in Indonesia, our colleague, Mr. Justinus Sunyoto. He is the coffee expert from Indonesia and founder of Gayo Kapperstim in Aceh and co-founder of Sawerandah Coffee, Indonesia. He will share about advancing carbon neutrality in Indonesia coffee supply chain, policy pathway, and practical action. And last but not least, we will hear from our colleague all the way from Northern Mindanao, Miss Lauren Alexis Johnson, or Lexi. She is the project coordinator at the Philippine Coffee Board Incorporated, and she will share about adapting to a changing climate, gender responsive and inclusive approaches in Philippine coffee plantation. Next, we will hear our welcoming remark from the Director of Heinrich-Böll-Stiftung Southeast Asia Regional Office, my director, Miss Marion Regina Müller.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Heinrich-Böll-Stiftung's Regional Office for Southeast Asia, I would like to welcome you all for this regional webinar on the 2030 Roadmap for Climate Adaptation in the Coffee Bean Belt of Southeast Asia. We will focus in particular today on the theme of driving policy and practice for climate resilient and coffee future. I'd like to start with a few words about the Heinrich-Böll-Stiftung or Heinrich-Böll Foundation. We are a German foundation and we are part of the worldwide green political movement that has developed as a response to the traditional politics of socialism, liberalism, and conservatism. We are also closely associated with the Green Party Alliance IT of Germany. We are a think tank for green visions and projects, and we are part of an international policy network. Our head office is located in Berlin, the capital of Germany, and We currently have 34 offices worldwide, 6 of them in Asia, from which we are supporting projects in over 60 countries in collaboration with civil society, with academia, with media, and with various actors on decision-making levels. Our main tenets in our work globally are ecology and sustainability, democracy and human rights, self-determination and justice. And within all of this, we place particular emphasis on gender democracy and on intersectionality. Our namesake, Heinrich-Böll, who was one of the most important and meaningful German post-World War writers, personifies the values we stand for: protection of freedom, civic courage, tolerance, open debate, and the valuation of arts and culture as independent spheres of thoughts and action. With our regional office for Southeast Asia, located in Bangkok, we work along the themes of ecology and social justice, democracy, and participation. And in these times of global multiple crises, crisis of peace, crisis of democratic leadership, of seemingly unrevocable threats to the environment, and with this to people's well-being, we strongly believe in supporting regional dialogue along these issues that matter for nature, for ecology, for democracy, and for the people. We aim not only to support transnational networking between actors and thinkers in the Southeast Asian region, but we also strive to build bridges between important fields of thought and action in the region to stakeholders and decision makers in the so-called global north, in particular in Germany and the European Union. Now, having said all of this, I do not really want to focus on giving an introduction or a large speech on the actually very important topics of today's webinar, because we have a whole panel of distinguished guests and experts lined up to speak. So maybe just on a more anecdotal note, I really feel that the debate around coffee production and cultivation and its linkages with sustainable agricultural practices, with indigenous knowledges and practices, with aspects of gender and mainly women's participation, not only on a labor or an economic level, but also on the level of decision making, the increasingly rising harmful impacts of climate change that have just been discussed at the COP right now, and the ways of how especially Southeast Asian countries are hit by these impacts. The debate of how not only the climate change impacts, but also overarching value and the supply chain disruptions related to trade policies and regulations, and in turn of how all of this is again mirrored in, as we tend to say, post-colonial power relations, can not only be discussed over a good cup of coffee, but is expressed in that very cup of coffee itself. So I am simply looking forward to today's exchange, and I am sure that it will enrich our view through the expert insights of our panelists who come from academia, who are development policy experts, who are farmers, who are involved with private sector and with NGOs, and who will be discussing about strategies for translating the 2030 roadmap into action. My special thanks for all of this does not only go to all the distinguished speakers who will be introduced very shortly, but most of all to Dr. Thida Chaiyapa, who is assistant professor at the School of Public Policy of Chiang Mai Universities. Without your great efforts, Dr. Chaiyapa, this webinar would not have been brought together. So I would really thank you very much for this. I would also like to thank my colleague Francisco Starmidi, who is coordinating our regional dialogue component at HBS Southeast Asia office, and who has been in touch with the regional coffee network over the last years. Franci will be part of the final panel discussion, and I think he will also bring along a small surprise for everyone today. With all of this, I again would like to thank you for your attention and wish all of us a wonderful and exciting, insightful discussion today.
Yeah, that's from Miss Marion Regina Müller from the Heinrich-Böll-Stiftung Southeast Asia Regional Office, the director of the foundation. Thank you so much. Okay, now I would like to start from talking about the overview of our 2030 roadmap. So let me share my screen. Actually, I act as a moderator, but also I will present this roadmap before to set the tone of our discussion and also the presentation today. So again, this webinar, this is our third year that we collaborate together with Francie, who are the program coordinator. Yeah, at the Heinrich-Böll-Stiftung Foundation. And thank you for all continued support and collaboration to this topic. Again, I would like to say that I am very happy to see all familiar faces, our colleagues from different countries in Southeast Asia who join in this seminar, webinar as a presenter and then panelist discussion too. Now, we are here today because everyone loves to drink coffee, and we are so concerned about the future of our coffee, especially in Southeast Asia. I like to mention a little bit before we go to the content of the 2030 roadmap. This is a Hope Seed, the research unit that are located in Chiang Mai University School of Public Policy. Our mission is to tackle the critical public challenge. For example, the climate change, climate adaptation issue, climate displacement, and also migration and health. So our topic, climate change and coffee business in Southeast Asia, is aligned very well with our mission, which try to talk about create the platform for the stakeholders to co-design the policy to respond or to address to the current challenge that we face together, especially from the region Southeast Asia. So now we are here in Southeast Asia, and everyone know that our region is blessed to be in the coffee bean belt. This area, the coffee bean belt, is the best location to cultivate coffee beans. However, this region, Southeast Asia, is also experiencing the severe climate impacts, drought, heavy rains, typhoon, storm, and flooding. They are keep coming more and more to our region, and that also affect severely to our coffee plantation and production, especially the vulnerable group such as the farmers, small-scale farmers in our region. They are vulnerable to the climate impact, and then we need to do something to help them in order to continue the coffee plantation and also have a sustainable farming for this coffee business. From the workshop that we did together first year, I would like to go back in time, 2023, that we start our workshop on coffee and climate change in Chiang Mai. We did the scanning about the trend that will affect coffee plantation, coffee production in Southeast Asia, and we come up with around 50 trends, 50 factors that can influence the business of coffee, the plantation of coffee in our region. However, the most influential factor or trend that can influence our coffee plantation and production is climate change. Everyone agree that climate change impacts to the coffee trees It could be by too heavy rains or drought, and also the insects that increase or other kind of disease that affect the coffee trees. So for the coffee, climate change is a major challenge for it to grow, and also for the farmers to do their cultivation. Now, because our region experienced the same challenge, I would like to raise the key questions for everyone, and also not only us who work on the coffee supply chain, but also the policy makers as well, who are working on the climate policy or agricultural promotion policy. Okay, so these are the main three questions that I would like to raise, and hopefully we can discuss it in our panel section. First, how do Southeast Asian governments integrate climate adaptation into their agriculture and coffee sector policies? Whether they have it or not, that's one number one question. But the second question is, how do they integrate climate adaptation into our coffee sector policy? The second one is, do national policy adequately address the severity of climate impacts that affect our production of the coffee? And the last one, because we experiencing this together as a whole, what kind of forms of the regional cooperation that we can build together and we can implement it together to protect the future of our coffee in this region? Our effort to address all of these three questions, we did many things together collectively. The first thing is we have the policy review paper published under the website of Heinrich-Böll-Stiftung Foundation. This is called a 2030 roadmap for climate adaptation in the coffee bean belt of Southeast Asia. You can go to the website and then download this report. Let me give you the summary key messages from this report. The highlight of this report is we try to tell everyone that although we have climate adaptation framework exists in Southeast Asia, but coffee is rarely included in those climate adaptation policies. Okay, in the report we have reviewed all 11 Southeast Asia countries, and then many of them have the NDC nationality, the climate commitment for the UNFCCC. Okay. However, the report suggest or found that the country only 3 countries that have the coffee specific adaptation policy, which is Philippines, Thailand, Singapore, and Vietnam. And then the rest, we don't have the specific coffee policy, how to address climate change impact in the coffee industry yet. Yeah. For the highlight, I need to emphasize this, that we have a very good practice in terms of the policy from Vietnam. Vietnam is the country in Southeast Asia that has very comprehensive coffee strategy, and also at the national level. Also in that, the coffee strategy in Vietnam have very detailed in terms of how to develop this economic crops, how to make the farmer networks, how to enhance the resilience of the farming practice, etc. So I would say that Vietnam is the example of our Southeast Asia country to have the very comprehensive coffee strategy. However, there are other countries like Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, and Laos and Cambodia also have a good, how can I say, good policy practice in terms of coffee, but it's not so highlight or emphasized as in Vietnam. Another good finding from the report is that we identify some key gaps in our Southeast Asia government policy. No? For example, coffee is still missing in our national adaptation plans. Most of the coffee policy focus on how to produce more, not how to address the climate challenge that face this industry or this business. No? Even though we have the coffee policy in some countries, but they don't target or tackle climate impact yet. More on that, we have the big gap that we don't have regional coordination on coffee and climate change. Yeah. Now, to address those gaps, we try to create the platform where everyone who are the stakeholders in coffee supply chain come together and co-design the roadmap, which is the collective policy that we can do together in order to address climate impact in our coffee business. So we collaborate with many stakeholders, people from coffee industry, people from government sector, people from NGO, international organization, the embassy as well. Here, the highlight is that from our workshop in Chiang Mai, we created the 2030 roadmap for climate adaptation in the coffee business in Southeast Asia together, using the foresight technique and deliberative tools. From that workshop, we set the agenda 4 points in order to achieve together by 2030 roadmap. The first one is to produce and disseminate varieties of coffee that are optimized for climate resilience, which is very important. The second one is promote regenerative agroforestry practice. The third one, to decarbonize the value chain of coffee production. And the last one, not only thinking about how to produce sustainably of the coffee productivity, but we also need to think about justice in our coffee supply chain. How to build coffee justice, no poverty in coffee farmers, and coffee, each cup can be accessible by everyone. All right, I just try to summarize what we have done in the past 3 years. We start from regional workshop in Chiang Mai 2023, and then we have the national level workshop in 2024. 2024 we have 3 national level workshop in Chiang Mai, in Bangkok, and also in Kuching, Malaysia. And the last one, which is now, we have regional webinar 2025 that we meet together and kind of try to move forward our roadmap into the action. Yeah. So I will stop here, and we already know that we're gonna hear a lot of interesting presentation from our distinguished speaker. So I will pass the stage to our first speakers, Dr. Nana Kuenkel from GIZ Thailand.
Thank you so much, Thida, and welcome, and also to the Heinrich-Böll Foundation for inviting us to this webinar. And good morning to everybody. It's a great pleasure to be here. I'm in Thailand, but not in Chiang Mai, so I'm joining online, but I understand there's also a group of people sitting together today in Chiang Mai. And so good morning to everyone. Maybe the background also, I will present in a moment. But as GIZ, we are largely working on coffee in the south of Thailand. So while a lot of this work is focused on the north, more on the Arabica coffee, we are working on Robusta coffee in the south, in around Chumpon area. However, I'm in Bangkok. I would like to briefly introduce also my colleague Pochamarn. She's the project director of the work that I will be presenting and will also join this webinar, and she's also available for the discussion and happy to join here. And I will just start.
Yes, you can start.
And explain, as said, a little bit about our work. I'm presenting on building climate resilient coffee landscapes and would like to share lessons from scaling regenerative Robusta coffee in Thailand. This is, I would focus on a journey, on an 8-year journey that we have done on regenerative Robusta coffee in a partnership with Nestle. We do believe those lessons offer concrete pathways for how the 2030 coffee roadmap can be translated into action across Southeast Asia. We have heard already in the introduction by Thida and the Heinrich-Böll Foundation that adaptation, environmental degradation, also possible contributions to mitigation of greenhouse gas emissions, thus climate change, among the many threats and risks in the coffee landscape, are among the most important. So this was also at the start of 2 projects that we implemented as GIZ, and they were called Coffee Plus and Coffee Double Plus. Southeast Asia really sits in the global coffee belt, as we have seen in the beginning, and millions of smallholders depend on coffee for their income. But this sector is exposed to climate impacts, rising temperatures, unpredictable rainfall patterns, pest outbreaks, and soil degradation. These risks affect yields, threaten livelihoods, and weaken national coffee economies. And this was the background against which climate adaptation and mitigation were identified as key entry points with our experiences in Thailand, where we focused on regenerative agriculture to reshape coffee landscapes and policy environments. The focus is very much, it's this farmer-centered approach. We have heard that from many areas, and focusing on the stabilizing and future-proofing the system. We focus on regenerative agriculture, looking at it from 3 perspectives or 4 perspectives actually, with an outcome focus. So we do look at the immediate and longer term benefits for farmers and for landscapes around the dimensions or around the key production and livelihood factors in an agricultural landscape, namely soil, biodiversity, and water, which are urgently needed to stabilize the production systems. It is a flexible approach, and you can stay on that slide for a moment, please. There is a wealth of research and scientifically background in soil health. We have extremely rich and strong recommendations on how important soils are, and soils are almost at the core of regenerative agriculture. Biodiversity focus, we have also international conventions around those topics, and flowing through the systems, the water availability, but looking at this in a comprehensive and holistic way. And then the idea and the necessity of learning and adaptation, and this way not only adaptation to climate change, but also adaptive learning and adaptive management in agricultural systems and in communities. So just as a means of a short project overview, the Coffee Double Plus project has the objective to enable smallholder coffee farmers to increase income, strengthen their capacity to adapt to climate change, and contribute to reducing greenhouse gas emissions by applying regenerative agricultural principles. So the specific project goal is to improve livelihoods and climate resilience of smallholder coffee producers through regenerative agriculture production systems. And the project was running or is running from January 2023 until December 2025. And actually, Pochamarn has just the day before yesterday, I believe, returned back from the closing ceremony of this project in Chumphon. This was preceded by a project Coffee Plus, which I mentioned, and that ran from 2018 to 2022 and had a focus on farmer business schools. Briefly looking at the next slide, those are the impact areas addressed, as already mentioned, and specifically the areas to address and the benefits that for the farmers and for the coffee systems are around soil structure and water retention, enhanced biodiversity within coffee agroecosystems, increased carbon sequestration from cover crops and agroforestry, reduced dependency on chemical inputs, and greater resilience to climatic stress. Going to the next slide. Under this project, where as said, we worked for 8 years, from 2021 to 2025, 2018, sorry, to 2025. This was a cooperation under German Development Cooperation, with a public-private partnership with Nestlé. And on the public side, we collaborated with the Department of Agriculture in Thailand, with the Department of Agricultural Extension, the Land Development Department, and provincial governments. And more than 2,200 Robusta coffee smallholders in Chumphon, Prachuap, Khiri Khan, and Ranong were trained and were cooperated with, and working as a model, as I will explain in a second. If we look in the next slide at a few of the outcome, farmers have adopted practices such as cover crops, shade trees, organic matter application, and soil conservation, which are the ways identified how to implement regenerative agriculture in coffee. And the link and the relevance for adaptation to climate change is through temperature regulation, through moisture regulation, with coffee and with cover crops and shading trees, being able to significantly reduce the temperatures in the soils and in the leaf area of the plants, and the water retention capacity of soils. Soil health has significantly improved, reflected in soil organic carbon, moisture retention, as said, and biodiversity indicators. And carbon sequestration potential has increased through agroforestry and organic management. Farmers were able to diversify their income sources, which also helps for adaptation to climate change by reducing vulnerability to climate shocks. And looking into the policy and into the sustainability area, these practices have been integrated into provincial action plans. Those were partly mentioned in the beginning, also in the policy analysis presented by Thida, ensuring long-term sustainability beyond project boundaries. If we look at the next slide, some impressions from training activities and success factors for adaptation we experienced, where the practicality, the accessibility, and the alignment with local context of those measures trained. So the identification, of the plants to intercrop and to use were done jointly. Organic fertilizers and compost from on-farm biomass was trained and learned upon. Mulching and counter practices to prevent erosions were jointly done here. And very importantly, also with a strong focus in the first of the two projects, were trainings on farm management in order to enable, let's say, the economic or improve the economic capacities of smallholder farmers. Soil monitoring was also part of the trainings in order to improve the information base of smallholder farmers and the decision base for application of on-farm interventions. This also has the benefit of economic benefits in terms of cost savings in optimized farm input management. If we look further at the policy linkages, there was also a link to the National Coffee Development Plan running from 2022 to 2031. Provincial governments incorporated regenerative agriculture into their annual operational plans. Extension officers were trained to scale these practices. And budget lines in agricultural departments were identified to support regenerative practices and adoption. So this is a brief snapshot of those plannings for those, sorry, I'm switching here between lines for those reading in Thai. And to share a few of the lessons learned. We see the broad and multi-stakeholder partnership here, which is essential. Government, private sector, development partners and farmers need to work together. This is clearly underlined in this partnership and forms part of many projects. And here the strong integration and interaction with the private sector is a key feature. Second, learning is the adoption accelerates when market incentive exists, such as premium markets or longer-term buying commitments, an area where direct private sector engagement is extremely valuable to showing the direct economic interest and opportunities to smallholder farmers. The policy embedding guarantees sustainability. And we saw here in an exemplary manner, scaling happens when local governments take ownership. We also focused on women and youth who play vital roles in strengthening resilience and ensuring long-term community engagement. And evidence is extremely powerful also, both to stakeholders and to the farmers themselves. Soil data, carbon measurements, and yield monitoring help farmers and policymakers alike to justify investments from public budget and also the small-scale farm management decisions. And then linking those lessons to the ASEAN discussions was part of the work, which was also embedded in regional work. With this, I would like to show a few more examples, and in terms of integrating that into the day-to-day and also the longer-term provincial strategies, 60 trainers from government agencies, academic institutions, and project teams were trained in regenerative agriculture, and 25 young farmers and lead farmers were trained as community trainers, and they form now a quite lively network in the region which continue to work in these areas. There were training materials, if you go to the next slide, that are available readily and freely. If you go to the next slide. And if you again go to the next slide, there's also a QR code where those training materials can be assessed. Maybe we can just leave this here for a moment, and it will also be provided to the participants. And let me just close by sharing a few implications for the 20 or alignment synergies we see for the 2030 roadmap. We see that such work demonstrates that inclusive and low carbon pathways are feasible. This work can provide a model that can be replicated for farmer-focused adaptation. It aligns with regional ambitions for a resilient, low-emission coffee sector. And it shows how local and national policy integration can unlock long-term impact. So we hope we can contribute with this work to work across the regions, and are keen to exchange here, but also in other regional fora, to see how how we can continue to cooperate on that. And you can go for the next slide, and also then to the next and last slide on already existing, for the next slide, existing regional entry points. 4 main recommendations for ASEAN governments and partners to integrate climate adaptation into national coffee and agricultural policies using concrete field-proven models, to develop incentives for farmers, such as subsidies for cover crops, tax incentives, low-interest green loans, or also exploring carbon credit opportunities, strengthening regional collaboration to share tools, data harmonization, and policy learning and mechanisms, and leverage development partners like the Heinrich-Böll-Stiftung and GIZ to facilitate dialogue, provide technical expertise, and support scaling. So in closing, Thailand's journey demonstrates that regenerative agriculture is a powerful pathway to building climate resilient and low carbon coffee futures. With strong partnerships, supportive policies, and empowered farmers, Southeast Asia can turn the 2030 coffee roadmap into concrete action, ensuring sustainable, inclusive, and climate resilient coffee landscapes for the future. With this, I would like to close and thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Nana. Very impressive work that GIZ Thailand has done for helping Thai farmers in the southern in Chumphon province, right? Also, we know that GIZ Thailand also work closely with the government department from Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperative. So we can see that the practice or the activity that happen in the field also will be integrated in the national and a provincial policy plan as well. So to make it more sustainable and long term, we need to have our action integrated into the policy. Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Nana. Very happy to have you and hear your impressive work from GIZ Thailand. Thank you so much. Okay. I would like to maybe have quick comments or questions from our audience toward our presenter, Dr. Nana. Maybe 2 or 3 questions, please, and then we move forward to the next presenter, Kun Kamonwat. Francie?
So far, no, it's clear.
Okay.
And I think what I learned, just one comment, working on agriculture topic, it takes year, so you cannot expect short term and then will bear the fruits. Because also the nature of agriculture product, it takes time, right? And then the farmer also needs time to plant, to harvest, and then to introduce the new technology. So appreciate what GIZ Thailand has been doing in southern of Thailand. Very interesting.
Thank you. Thank you, Francie. Dr. P. Kamonwat, yes.
Hello. For my experience in about the south of Thailand, they grow up the Robusta and is the farm management we start like the fusion and if we grow up the Arabica coffee in north of Thailand, we need to have some of shade grow. And how about the Robusta way for now? Because I found some extreme weather. They have some if they have some fusion, the damage from sun from the rain, the harding rain is have the damage to the coffee and the increase of temperature. And how about the way to make the shade go in Robusta? Thank you.
Yes, thank you for the question. So, if I may support, yeah, more or less, Since in the past, the farmer growing Robusta coffee, not only the monocrop, they also use the southern culture, something like the mixing or intercropping, and also the project. We had been promoting intercropping model, not only growing Robusta, but also mixing with some other trees. So that's why we have certain model mixing with a certain crop with the model. So about the shade, they don't have the issue, and also they can earn the income diversify from several crops. Is that answer your question?
Yes, and how about the recommendatory for the
Yeah,
intercropping?
we have the model with, for example, we have banana and also some catch crop, and also, so I forgot the name of mark in Thai. That more or less already
Palm
naturally,
tree.
yeah, something like that, and also bananas, uh, chili, and also durian. Also, they can mix in some model, because the issue of the Robusta coffee reduction is because the high price of durian, and then the farmer cut all of uh, coffee tree and change to durian for the past 5 years. But now they realize that the price of coffee is increasing and also more sustainable, not fluctuated in price when compared to durian. Then that's why farmers are coming back, and also they continue keep coffee. Why, if they want to grow some other crop, they can also grow together.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ka. Francie, please.
Yes, thank you. One follow-up question to Kun Pochamarn from our colleague joining online, Mr. Nguetun. He is the founder and director of Genius Shanghai Line Coffee in Myanmar. So his question is about your project, GIZ Thailand. You focus on Robusta coffee, right? This variant. His question is that, do you focus on the fine Robusta, which is like usually used for specialty, or commercial grade that you introduce to the farmer? Thank you.
Yes, thank you for the question. Since this project, we partner with Nestle, so we focus on only the coffee for industry, because Nestle will buy all the products from farmer, but they don't have any contract. But it's depend on the farmers. They are freely to sell to Nestle or some other buyer. But however, Nestle, this more or less the something like the mindset of relationship, and also it's depend on the price, and most likely the price that Nestle buy is up to the international market, and they also receive higher the plus because we use the 4C standard that are requirement, and they
Thank you.
provide all the technical support to the project, and even they work closely before the project.
Thank you, Kun Pochamarn.
โอเคค่ะ thank you so much ค่ะ both Dr. Nana and คุณพจมานค่ะ and also all participants who asked good questions okay please
ขอบคุ
feel
ณค่ะ
free to ค่ะขอบคุณนะคะ please feel free to raise question ค่ะ we gonna have another section that everyone can engage in the fruitful discussion to in the panel section นะคะ all right now I'd like to turn to our speaker from Thailand คุณกมลวัฒน์ค่ะ
My presentation is about the waste management and about the low carbon strategy in Thailand coffee section. Okay, we start with we need to know about the four phases of waste management and the carbon footprint. First is about the coffee farmer, coffee production and processing. Two is transportation and distribution. 3 is the roasting and the cafe. And 4 is about the consumer, about the waste management and recycling. Okay, let me start with coffee production processing. Now we have the problem about it. If we use the recommendation of customer, they need to buy the wash processing for like a commercial grade of coffee, and in that processing have the more use of water, and that water is come to the canal in the village. Is like on the right hand of my presentation. This is same thing in the very serious problem in the village in the Deutsche in north of Thailand. And if you saw the sum of like the big bowl, this is the old way to use the uh waste processing. And we have the new or like a technique. The coffee farmer in Khun Lao. Oh no, sorry, not Khun Lao, is in the uh in the north of Thailand, another village. They reuse the water waste. In the processing way, if you saw the big picture on the right hand, the circulation of the coffee waste processing in water, the circulation reuse, and they have some of pulp on the rest one for used for biomass fertilizer. And if you saw the old style, the pulp one is just going to the close of the processing plant, and like the not go to make the good quality of biomass fertilizer. And this way is have the more increase the potential to reduce the cost of farm management for about the chemical fertilizer too. And next, about the transportation and distribution. For now, we have the like a car in EV car. But it's not just only the for the consumer. We have for the big scale for transportation too. Then now in uh 2024, the Bot Cafe we ship all of the main shipping and the hardware system to the DHL. And the DHL they use the EV truck for transportation our product to every brand in the Thailand. And if we shoot this way, because we can use just only by our truck is have to more of cost, right? And for now we use our like a company, they make the solution, and not just only the coffee, and every private sector in Thailand, they use the sustainable is like maybe own or truck, or maybe they use the sum of electric car for transportation too. About the roasting and cafe. In Bok Cafe, we have the factory in the west of Thailand, and we use the big one we call the Lala. This is the automatic and high quality of power saving, and we use the rooftop of solar cell. In this processing is not just only the big company like Bond Cafe. The model of coffee roaster is like the lowering. The circulation daily use the power of heating to roastery, and they have the same of power that to create about the emotion of it's like the gas burner to create about the pollution in air too. And about the cafe, now the cafe is in Thailand we have too many cafe, right? But we have the Banpu. Banpu is the big company about the power, and then kickstart a project about a prototype of solar power cafe shop to use 100% of uh solar power to make the cafe, and they show up about how we can reduce about the CO2 in every cup of coffee the consumer drink. Yeah, if you see about the episode, it just dilutes for about 500, and if you order some of increase the milk, it can be dilute for maybe sorry, 750 CO2 decrease. And for now, the Banpu have just only two of cafe is like the kick-off project, and we hopefully to let this project to go to a big plan on next year. And this is the plan they told about us, because the Bon Cafe and the Banpu have the cooperation. They need to use the net zero solution. They use the smart operation and smart waste and smart mobility is like a tuk everything. About the customer choice, yeah, we know about the option to use the something like reusable straw, and maybe for the cafe. Now we use the eco-friendly to make the packaging. It's not just only the paper cup one. In some paper cup can use just one time, but we have about the film inside the paper cup is cannot just for now we change to the biofilm, and that film can decompose easily to go to the national fertilizer. And about the uh about the capsule, now we start the capsule. We use the aluminum one. Yes, the aluminum can be recycling in the factory, right? But for now they need to use like the paper capsule, or some is the eco-friendly capsule. If the customer use this capsule and just throw away to on the soil, it can be easily to go to the decompose. The waste management and recycling. Now we have the project about the make the furniture from coffee ground and packaging foil. That is the big company from SCG to help us to recycling. And the big one project is about the Department of Agriculture to create the manual of production fertilizer for coffee ground and coffee cherry, and the waste of coffee shop and the coffee processing, because this one have to like a win-win of the farmer, and about the decrease about the price of their order for chemical fertilizer. And another one, for the waste from the factory, we can use that material to make like a eco-friendly pot to grow up the new tree, and they can sell this one to the consumer too. And the last one is success for the Thailand coffee section policy. Now, we don't know about the how many carbon we create from whole of coffee sector on Thailand, because it's the big part. But for the roasting coffee bean, the big one is come from coffee growing. It is like 84%, and the second one is come from manufacturing is like the roasting machine, and for the everything is like for the packaging, and the last one is just 3% is come from export. The big part of this data we saw about the very uh big gap from agriculture. And if we have something to help the farmer or have the agriculture to make the practice to reduce this part, we have something really effective to reduce the CO2. Maybe it is important to make the fertilizer use or land management and water effect. About the overall of carbon footprint in Thailand, and coffee industry is the big generate into the grow up processing. If we have the one reduce the nitrogen fertilizer use, and two change for the chemical fertilizer to use the organic fertilizer, and three the employee, if we can change to your low carbon soil and water management. In about coffee in Thailand, we have two parts. We have one is from the north of Thailand for about Arabica. Arabica is not use too much the water in grow fed into the farm management, but they use the more water into the coffee processing. Is like the wash processing. It's not same in Robusta in south of Thailand, because the south of Thailand we need some more water for Robusta, and we in the processing we just use the like a natural process or dry process. It just leave the coffee cherry dry on the processing plant. It's not the same thing. And for if we use the aquaforest is like that how to make the shade grow coffee farm management. Okay. One, if we use the organic fertilizer, it can for the report, if we use the chemical fertilizer cost is too high. If we use the change from chemical to organic, it can be reduced cost for 20 or 40%. And that compost is come from coffee ground. Coffee ground is come from the part is like the cafe. It's like that. It's like the waste production of coffee roastery. We call shop. And the plant waste is something like if you have the pruning freight on farm management, they can use all of them to make the organic fertilizer. Two, increase the productive. In the past, if we use the right pruning of the knowledge, we can have increased more yield about the 10 to 20% within 2 or 1 year. And about the multi-crop, yeah, we talk in the first presentation. The multi-crop in north of Thailand maybe use the macadamia or avocado to make the increase the money income. Okay, and about the community to make the carbon credit system. The example is the Mae Phá Luang University. No, sorry, it's the Mae Phá Luang Foundation. The operation project we call carbon credit from community forest for sustainability. The community is have to many private and have the participant to make the carbon credit. For now, we have to over 43,000 tons of CO2, and that credit can be transferred for private sector to buy for emission offset. It's like the buy that for carbon credit, because for a long time we have some report from the researcher the how we can help the farmer to increase the money if they have the go in the way of shade grow coffee, not just no, because if the farmer use the sun of crop, no shade grow, we have too high of productive, but in that crop is have the damage to soil, and that in have the or of make use the farmer need to use the more of chemical fertilizer, and they, if we can promote them to change the way to grow up the coffee into the multi-crop, or go to the shade grow of coffee, they can reduce about the chemical fertilizer too. Okay. And for example, about the projects, if we can promote them, one, the community of coffee ground processing center, if we have some coffee ground from herbal coffee shop and connect them with maybe some of the government, it go to the biofertilizer and fill back that production into the farmer to reduce the cost and use the right of good fertilizer, not just only chemical. Two, low carbon credit the project is something like for the coffee plant system is combined with commercial tree to pilot area to make the carbon stock for long term and return tagging. Three, the solar power rosary. For now, about the price of solar pan power is really decreased for now, and it help the micro roaster in Thailand can be changed the way to make the power, and some of the waste of that coffee roastery is like the one cafe. We have too big of waste in the factory, and they go to the power plant in that area to make the use is like the biomass fuel for that area is can be dilute the biomass to make the electric plant. Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much ค่ะคุณกมลวัฒน์ค่ะ so Bond Cafe is doing great job with the decarbonized coffee supply chain throughout the production, the roasting, and also the retail นะคะ so very happy to see impressive case and example that Bond Cafe has been conducting ค่ะ it can raise a lot of ideas, inspiring ideas for other stakeholders, other companies as well. Thank you so much. We will keep questions for คุณกมลวัฒน์นะคะ for the discussion in the panel section. If you have any question to คุณกมลวัฒน์ or any speakers, please feel free to write down in the chat and we will discuss it during panel discussion. Thank you ค่ะคุณกมลวัฒน์ So after we see the example from Kun Kamonwat for Thailand case, now we're gonna see the best practice from Indonesian case, in a similar topic on how to decarbonize, make carbon neutrality in Indonesia's coffee supply.
Thank you again for the time, and also thank you everyone. Especially thank you to Nana Kuenkel of GISF and also Kamawat of One Coffee, who are already presents the best practices in Thailand. But I believe experience so far, the practices is more and less as but similar in Indonesia. But today, I have to present something more about policy pathway. So a bit more practical, a bit less practical, and more about technical, and also a little experience in the field. Advancing carbon neutral in Indonesia's coffee supply chains, policy pathway, and practical actions. But I believe you guys have already watched the television or even from any sources of news that the disaster have been occurred in Indonesia one or 2 weeks ago. Still recovering. Disaster not just ruin coffee sector in the three provinces, but it bring damage. So it is very embarrassing for Indonesians because we are struggling, and also we have concern and commitment to carbon neutral. We're battling against the climate change that this disaster have been proven that we still have a gap on monitoring. Now we are discussing about advancing carbon neutral in Indonesia. We are respect from our commitments. Indonesia is one of the country that ratified the Paris Agreement in 2015. Mean that Indonesia also committed to contributing to the global effort to limit the increase in global temperature to no more than 1.5 degrees Celsius and achieve net zero emissions by 2050. This means that carbon neutrality is the fundamental goal within the Paris Agreement visions for sustainable and low carbon future. Now, Indonesian target and national commitments. Indonesia officially targets to achieve net zero emission by 2060 or sooner, depending on future conditions. And alternatively, the scenario net zero could be achieved by 2045, means at the time we have intention to be Indonesian goal. And then 2050 or 2060. Again, it depends on the policy choices and implemented steps. And the commitment to reducing emissions, it's written on our enhanced nationally determined contributions by reduce greenhouse gases emissions about 31.89%. I believe this one is a bit ambitious through its own effort, to our own effort, and up to 43.2% with international assistance by 2030. Also, the value net sink 2030 scheme, Indonesia is committed to significantly reduce forestry sector emission, supporting the national climate transitions. Now, our core strategy policies, first is the energy transitions. We accelerating to shift from fossil fuel to clean renewable energy. To clean renewable energy, expanding the use of new and renewable energy. For the core, another core strategy is industrial decarbonizations through national roadmap. We have a roadmap on decarbonization, including energy and material efficiency, processing and process electrifications, full material replacement, and application of carbon capture and storage. And then on waste and garbage management, the government is targeting waste efficiency and management to support the net zero targets. And then clean investment incentive, establishing partnership to accelerate the energy transition and the implementation of the captured carbon storage technology. And then another core strategy is climate in development plans. So climate change mitigation policy and low carbon development are incorporated into national long-term plans. Current Indonesian positions, Indonesia already has a fairly comprehensive policy framework for achieving carbon neutrality or net zero emissions for long-term target, planning based on our documents already, and the integrating climate change into national development policy. So it would be already in our plans and also have been approved by the president. But currently, we also understand how difficult Indonesia positions. The first, we know that Indonesia have 4 big islands, and with the total island about 17,380 based on a census 2025, and number of provinces about 38 based on census 2025, and number of regencies about 416 based on census 2025, and number of tribes is more than 1,200 tribes based on census 2020, and also number of languages. So it is a multicultural, multi-dimensions, and also multi-stages and multi-collaboration across the sector. So it means success of Indonesia depend heavily on cross-sector collaborations, government, the private sector, civil society, and the international community. What happened in Indonesia of 3 provinces, the disaster of 3 provinces, which is damaged most entire of the coffee sector in this 3 province in Sumatra, Aceh, North Sumatra, and West Sumatra is really it's a responsibility of the local government. So it means the reflection how difficult we have collaboration across the sector between the governments for in our country. Carbon neutrality in the coffee sector. Actually, we are always asking where is the coffee emissions coming from? Our previous speaker, especially Commonwealth, also have already mentioned this. Mostly, first is on farm, the use of fertilizer, land clearing, is refill of the land, fuel for machinery, processing coffee cherries, in processing and milling, the use of the water, energy for drying beans, waste from pulp and husk, transportations, moving beans from farm, milling, sport, roasting plant, retailers. Mostly Indonesia is still using transportation with fuel energy, mostly a diesel. So you can imagine how much CO2 they create. And the roasting, we still use high energy consumptions, gas fire roasters, and packaging production still something like something not recycling yet. And then in retail and brewing, we still use also electricity in cafes, coffee machines, waste from the cup, packaging, and leftover grounds. So how the coffee sector achieve carbon neutrality? First, we reduce the emissions. Company and farms try to cut emission at every step. In the farm level, we use the shade ground coffee to reduce land clearing, and organic farming to lower fertilizing emissions. Renewable energy in process and roasting. Efficient roasters using electricity instead of the gas, quite similar with what the coffee have already used. and sustainable packaging, something like more compostable and recyclable. Then optimizing transportation route. Increasing carbon sequestration. Coffee farm can capture carbon by planting setting trees, improving soil health, protecting forests around the coffee growing area. The set ground agroforestry systems are one of the best natural carbon sinks. But of course, the offsetting must be verified by standard like a gold standard or FERA or Federal Climate Standard. So offset remaining emissions. Some emissions cannot be avoided. That's true. So companies invest in a reforestation project, renewable energy project, community-based desertification projects. Then it is one also clear in our policy. For example, of carbon neutral coffee effort, some coffee brand offer certified carbon neutral products. Specialty coffee roaster invest in reforestation in producer countries. Cooperative encourage farmers to adopt agroforestry to store more carbon. One of the example that has been studying in Gayo, start last year, but still in the states of socializations. The project between PUR, we call it PUR, PUR projects. They have agreement with the coffee practices certifications under the Starbucks, and they have joint cooperations with the cooperative, the local cooperative. They do kind of planting of trees as a setting trees, not just only setting trees, but also planted trees. So by the project, the owner of the coffee practice certification, farmers, they join the project with a contract about 30 years, and they have to drop the setting trees, just like in Thailand, they use avocado or other trees that they require. And by dropping that tree, they will calculate how much the carbon reduction they produce. The project also they provide the fertilizer as an input supply, also provide training and educations. But so far they do not provide the access of the CO2 they create. So carbon neutral coffee and supply chains in coffee farm, the emissions, fertilizer, the use of fertilizer, land use change, machinery fuel, coffee cherries processing, the reductions. We use the organic farmings, and we do also agroforestry, the shade trees, efficient irrigations, and renewable energy on farm. While in the processing or milling states, the emissions coming from the pulping, drying energy, wastewater, solid waste, the reductions from solar drying, the use of solar drying, waste to compost system, and efficient water use. For exporting and transporting, the emissions coming from the truck transport and also the shipping, the reductions by the optimizing routes, efficient logistics, and low carbon shipment options. For roasting, emissions coming from the high heat energy use and packaging productions. How we reducing? Use the electricity or efficient roasters and renewable electricity and low impact packaging. On retail and brewing, the emissions they are coming from coffee electricity, coffee machine, single-use cups, the reductions. We use the energy efficiency machines, reusable cups, sustainable coffee practices. So how we offsetting and removing and removal by the reforestations, soil carbon storage, and renewable energy credits. So by doing by such reductions, we can call it also as a carbon neutral coffee. Indonesia major key policy in climate change, major policy offering land and agriculture. We use the follow is the follow policy. Means forest and other land use. Net sink 2030. This one for sustainable land use, and also we use the industrial decarbonizing roadmap and clean net zero industry plan as policy. For carbon market and carbon pricing instrument, based on Perpres or presidential decree number 110 2025, we are concerned on carbon economic value, also enhancing national determinate contributions as a national sector target field. So how these policies matter? Land and use of forestry protection via value net sink 2030. We expect that this policy will impact on sustainable land use and forest conservation policy, help maintain forest cover and carbon sinks, which support low carbon or agroforestry cover protections. The policy on carbon offset or credit based on a presidential decree. We expect that this policy will impact in generating credits under the regulation scheme. This gives economic incentive to adopt sustainability practices. The policy in inclusions of agriculture in national determined contributions. We expect that this policy will impact on recognition agriculture as a sector for mitigations government can, in principle, support or regulated emission reductions or sequestration in farming, including coffee plantations. So in this case, we also have it means that we Indonesia have really concern and specific on these regulations, inclusion coffee plantations, and policy support for sustainable agriculture and climate resilience coffee. We expect that this policy will impact on coffee farming. They may receive support, funding, and technical assistance under a broader climate policy framework. So what this means to stakeholders? Indonesia climate and carbon neutrality policy can access to incentive, access to support, training, and also grants, and better climate resilience, and market opportunity for sustainable products. So carbon neutrality in practical actions in Indonesia. For example, there is a project from World Research Institute Indonesia and HSBC Indonesia for Sustainable Gayo Coffee Project. What they do, the project aims to reduce deforestation, improve farmer livelihood, and also produce coffee with lower environmental footprint. And the same project on farm and waste to energy, convert coffee processing waste like husk or pulp into bioethanol or biomass reduction resilience on fossil fuel, and cutting greenhouse emission from waste burning. And another project or initiative, a Chatur coffee company, set target to reduce carbon emission. First by 40%, then aim for 100% as part of sustainable corporate pledge. Mandiri Bank, they have a project, they call it at Lingkar Hijau or Green Circle with a bailing wrap. What they do, they have intention to reduce waste and associated emissions, as well as the encouraging circular economic practices in coffee industry. Quite similar with the Thailand, Nescafe in Thailand. In Indonesia, also they have a global supply. They have initiative on sustainable sourcing and supply chain effort. What they do, why it's matter, because they are affording better agriculture practices, distribution resilience coffee seedlings, optimizing land use, reducing fertilizer use to aim for a deforestation-free coffee supply by 2025. Why this sample is notable for us? There are many other samples, even though in small. I've been in coffee sector since 2010, jumping from other project to other projects in Gayo and Papua, in North Sumatra, in Java. Most of projects partially is a part of the sustainable platform. We also provide the fertilizer, organic fertilizer. We provide farmers with training on making a fertilizer, and also good and better practices and processing, which reduce the carbon. Meaning, in part, we have starting carbon reduction since the beginning, but not in the whole after Paris agreements. It means this one is also in our official policy. So why these four previous practices samples are not notable for us? For example, from farm level agroforestry to waste energy. This is notably that we help cut emission from deforestation and waste and processing.
Justin, sorry.
Sample from private sector.
Sorry, Justin, may I interrupt? We need to wrap up.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Almost finished the time. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. And in private sector is just showing that it's just government NGO could business actor and engage together, and they can work together, and also for circular economic, we can reducing emission and creating local economic effort. So in whole, for market incentive and resilience for farmers, this will make sustainability for economic viable. Some challenges, of course, Indonesia is so many challenges, but yes, we are still have a commitment, even though it is very difficult because it's broad and cross-sectoral. This means that actual implementation at the farm level may vary dependent on our resources, awareness, and capacity. So, as an economic and local factor, many farmers are smallholder farmers with limited sources. The transition of sustainable agroforestry practices may require investment, require more capacity building and support, just like what Francis mentions, that will need a longer and also long period to manifest it. So the market demands and verification for farmer credit to be valued. Offset project must be rigorous standard with MRV or certification. This can be barrier for many small farmers. And climate risk still remain. even with mitigation policy, climate change impact, temperature rise, rainfall, and everything, still threaten for coffee yields. That's why I believe our groups for climate change adaptation is very important, because the adaptations and resilience effort remain crucial for us, especially for Indonesia and also ASEAN. This is how Indonesia still commit to carbon neutrality. We can see and figure how the policy timelines occur. In the phase 1, 2015 to 2020. So you can see in this presentation later on. Till 2000, we have phase from 2015 until 2055. And 2065, the fast fifth, we are nearly full implementation of clean energy, meaning that remaining emission in hard to reduce sector are addressed by CCS or offsite. By 2060, Indonesia believe to achieve net zero emissions. This is our official government target and main strategy transition scenario. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Eutinus. Yeah, very comprehensive and detailed about the government policy and private sector initiative, no? And also the policy both from the climate mitigation and also how the private sector can contribute to this mission of the government and the set of time frame for the Indonesian to achieve net zero emission target. Thank you so much. We do have questions for you, waiting for you in the panel discussion. Eutinus, please read in the chat and then prepare to address them. Thank you so much. All right, now we're gonna turn to our last speaker from the Philippines, our colleague and friend from the Philippines, Miss Lauren Alexis Johnson. Thank you, and stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And first of all, thank you for inviting me to join our esteemed speakers. And I'm so happy to see everyone back again following our gathering in 2023 and 2024 last year. So it's good to have, and some of our friends are also online. So it's good to see everybody. So today I'll be sharing with you how Philippines adapted to a climate changing environment through the gender responsive and inclusive approach to Philippine coffee plantations. So this is my overview. So I'll be sharing with you the climate pressures affecting the Philippine coffee and why gender and inclusion matters. I'll also be sharing with you some case study that I conducted, and then some policy recommendation for direction. For a quick snapshot of our Philippine coffee. So Philippines produces 4 major varieties. And in the Philippines, the hectares of lands are usually managed by owned by individuals and or cooperatives and association. Usually, it's also owned by indigenous people within their ancestral domains, or the Ugat Dayo or the settlers, and even our Moro brothers and sisters are also into coffee farming. Basically, this is grown by about 40,000 registered smallholder farmers. So it's not yet counted here, those their household, they're probably their husbands and wives or their children, and other relatives. So most probably it will spike up to 300,000 coffee farmers or farmhands that helping the coffee industry. And then in regions, we have usually region 10, This is where I came from. No, I'm from Region 10, Region 11, 12, and the Cordilleras. So this is the Philippine map. If you can see at the bottom part of the Philippine map is Mindanao, and our capital of Philippines is in the north part or in the Luzon area. So Robusta accounted for over 76% of production in 2020, followed by Arabica, which is 16.70%. And we also do have Excelsa, 5.7%, and we have also Liberica, down to 1.1%. So our friends from GIZ also mentioned how climate affects coffee, with our increasing coffee temperature, heat stress can lead to stunted growth and reduced yields. There are also influx of pests and diseases. Warmer temperature create favorable condition to pests and diseases that attack coffee plants. And then with the erratic rainfalls, irregular rainfall pattern causing droughts and floods that lead to water shortage in some areas here in the Philippines. And then there are also excess in moisture in mountain areas, and both of which harm the coffee crop. And then, of course, it will affect the quality of coffee beans. So climate change can alter the delicate balance of soil nutrients and impact of flavor profiles of the coffee beans. Okay. So some impacts of coffee, the impacts of climate change to coffee communities. First is we have a massive migration of labor. Climate pressure deepens existing vulnerabilities due to the challenges in agriculture. So people opt to migrate to bigger cities like the National Capital Region in Luzon, or even apply as overseas Filipino workers, which is very common here in the Philippines. You can really see that probably each household must have one OFW or probably know someone that is working abroad. Second is the aging farmers. This data shows that in 2015, which is really outdated, but the average age of farmers was 55 back then. But it was predicted by the Department of Agriculture that by 2030, the average age will now be 50 years old. And third is the reduce of productivity of the land. The trees are no longer productive. And next is there is also an increase in production costs, which later on I'll be sharing with you. What are the implications and what are these production costs that incur, And also there is a threat in the quality. So unequal impacts across gender, age, and social groups. Here, if you can see in the map, in the screen, I share with you, this is according to the Philippine Coffee Industry Roadmap, 2021 to 2030. So in the Philippines, we have a total of 75 million bearing trees. And from an island where I'm coming from, Northern Mindanao, here in Davao Region, Soksargen, and Caraga, and in Barm, where most of the coffee are being grown. And then some areas in Luzon, Calabar Zone, and in the Cordilleras or the Car region, most of our coffees are grown in these areas. Here you can see the production of coffee in metric tons. So production has generally declined by 16% tons from 7,000 tons in 2015 down to 60,000 tons in 2020. So there is really a decrease in terms of coffee production. Next is here, I'm sharing with you the coffee area planted. So in the past 10 years, yield per hectare declined by about 2.5 per year. Meanwhile, yield per bearing trees decreased by 2% per year over the last decades. No? From 2016 to 2019, the number of bearing trees has been downtrend, no? From 77 million bearing trees to about 0.6 metric tons per hectares, no, in 2016, down to 74, no, bearing trees in 2019. So there is a low productivity correlated with aging or old age of trees, limited, no, rejuvenation, and poor farming management. So this is based on the industry data. The average yield is in about 250 to 300 kilo of green beans per hectare. So if you can see, there's really a downfall until 2019. But unfortunately, the data did not provide any description why there is a sudden increase in 2020. But probably my thought is that during lockdown here, it has been it became a trend here in the Philippines that during the lockdown, people were already got into being a plantito or plantita. So when you say tito, this is our aunt, no? So they become, people are selling seedlings online or any plants online. And there was also a massive selling, no, of farm lots or farms, no, in the mountain areas. And people were into farming back then, no, starting the lockdown in 2020. So that's my own personal assumption. So here is the number of bearing trees and yields, no, per hectare per year. So from 2026 to 2020. So there is an average of 693 bearing trees in a per hectare during the 10 years as compared to the standard of 1,100 trees per hectare planting density, or 3 meters by 3 meters planting distance of Robusta. So a decreasing trend in planting density was recorded, no, from 2016. And though it's not really very in terms of the decrease, but the drop in density was a result of several factors, no, such as people or farmers, smallholder farmers shifting, crop shifting, they cut their old trees. There was also a rapid industrialization, especially in the National Capital Region, where the density of the region cannot anymore, no, accommodate. So they have to go outside the region and go to Region 4A and Calabar Zone and other areas, no? And also with the effects of climate change, and of course, the Philippines, no, as being part of the typhoon area, no, of the world, with our natural calamities, no, Philippines experience about 26 typhoons each year. So it also affects, no, in terms of the productivity of our farms. So why gender matters in climate adaptation? So women contribute heavily in production, yet remain unrecognized. Probably there are gender norms. They are being undervalued, no? Their work. There are also their tasks are invisible and unpaid. And then number 3, in terms of decision making, men also still dominates, no, in terms of decision making. It's the father of the household. And 4th is records and titles. Example of farms, no, rarely includes women. And market system also focus on farm owners, which are also usually men. And there is also an equal access to land, credit, training, leadership roles. So women have less access to land, credit, training, and leadership roles because inheritance, due to inheritance and titling of lands are favored to men. And collateral, so when you apply for loans, we really need to like show some proof that we can support, no, or can pay. So collateral requirements, no, this includes exclude women. And lastly, training and extensions systems are usually male oriented. So empowering, strengthening women improves farm productivity and their resilience. So I want also to cover the intersectionality and inclusion. So inclusive means designing systems around this reality. No, climate change must consider layered vulnerabilities, especially in most of the farms are owned by indigenous people, owned by smallholder households. And again, one of the challenges in the Philippines is the aging farmers, is also to include the youth, in terms of the coffee industry or the farming industry. And indigenous people rely on their ancestral lands and traditional knowledge, so both must be protected. And then in the Philippines, we have about 110 indigenous peoples groups, which includes the Lumads of Mindanao, the Igorots of the Caldera area. And youth engagement is crucial as farming community or farming population is aging. So gender roles in coffee farming in some cases, but this is not true to all. So women are used to manage the nursery, the processing and quality grading, and even the marketing side, while men also are doing the land preparation, maintenance, and field management. So I will just quickly share with you a case study that I conducted. So women's role in climate change adaptation in the Philippines. So I have interviewed at least 10 women coffee farmers from the different regions in the Philippines. And these women have at least 1 hectare of land they manage. And then they might, and also they are also part of cooperatives and association. So they have about an average of 15 and above members. So as we know that the Philippines agri-food system is highly vulnerable to climate-related hazards, as what I've mentioned earlier, women in different regions in the Philippines fulfilled diverse roles beyond agricultural labor, including household management, childcare, and generating informal livelihood, such as trading. And then we do have sari-sari store or small stores within our village. They frequently bear the dual responsibility of childcare or caring and labor. Often managing the farm alone when their husbands seek to alternative income. And then lastly, the economic instability. Farming does not provide a flexible and predictable income, so leading by many women in pursuit to additional income generating activities just to support their families and also their children's education. So they experience decrease in crop yields. I mentioned this already with the increasing of temperature. We have also different plant diseases. They observe changes in coffee taste. And lastly, facilities were destroyed due to natural calamities that we experience each year. So how does climate change affect gender at home? When there is a typhoon, they are the ones who manage the checking of damages and reporting this to the training institute where they belong. This is an additional work for them, but because it requires going back and forth, as well as while attending to their home needs. And for one farmer, they spend most of their time in farms for monitoring and to ensure that there is still enough water or well-maintained farm. Because of its demand, it decreases their time to doing their other household chores and for the family. So in terms of their business, climate change affected their production plan, including income, because they need to adjust their schedule in roasting, processing, and even marketing. That even in some cases, for some women, they engage in microloans. So we have loans everywhere. So it's becoming more efficient because loans are the one going to the farms nowadays. That they even until now, they still have to pay for it. And then community involvement, sometimes they cannot attend events and trainings because they need to prioritize fixing the farm damages or need to monitor the weather. And of course, no, in terms of their emotion or psychological, no, sometimes stress, no, awakes them, but also motivates them to become stronger and better prepared, no, in other calamities related events. So here are some adaptive strategies. They're already practicing organic farming, organic mulching, intercropping, soil regeneration. Also, mentioned earlier some doing shade trees. So for production, to lower the heat and typhoons, diversification. They all are women farmers now also being invited as contributors or trainers. They also, aside from farming, they also upscale. So they do processing of their coffee products. And of course, in some departments, like the Department of Tourism here in the Philippines, they also train our farmers for farm tourism, just in case there are no harvest during down season. So they ensure the construction of sturdy and climate resilient infrastructure, and then they improve the drainage of water management. They also nourish their partnership with the local government unit and training institute. And then setting aside, they are now more aware in setting aside emergency funds and contingency fund just in case for immediate repairs, and also now adapting to investing to new technology. Here are some strategies of gender responsive adaptation. Hopefully there will be more equitable training and capacity sharing activities, access to climate financing and credit, women inclusive cooperatives, because there are still women that are not part of cooperatives, and also to encourage taking in leadership roles. Some gender-sensitive extension services, indigenous peoples, cultural practices in agroforestry, and then youth as part of their digital monitoring tools. There are a lot of apps already, GIS mapping, online marketing, and shaping stories now. There's like to go now is really Facebook. So Facebook, Instagram, their coffee farmers are taking the lead in terms of promotion. There are also vloggings now, so we can see more in terms of promotion of what they are doing and their product that they are into. So in order to strengthen farmers' organizations, we have cooperatives here in the Philippines, because most of facilities are being granted to cooperatives and not to individuals. So cooperatives are key agents, and encourage leadership roles of women and youth, and to build a climate smart value chain from production to post-harvest to marketing, building institutional linkages or markets for our farming communities. So here is a policy recommendation for the Philippine context. So policies must align with the Climate Change Act. So we also have the Magna Carta for women, and then we have coffee roadmaps. And in order to, we have to integrate gender perspective in local agricultural plans. So the local development comprehensive plans and local budgets. So support women-led enterprises, incentivize the climate smart practices, and to strengthen the indigenous people's rights and their traditional knowledge. So here are some of my takeaways. climate change is reshaping Philippine coffee, and coffee remains vulnerable but adaptable. So inclusion accelerates innovation and sustainability. So we should support gender responsive and inclusive approaches to increase resilience and to strengthen vulnerable groups, to strengthen also their communities as well as their markets. In conclusion, so I'm up to my last slide. Here in the Philippines, coffee is an heritage, not just a livelihood, but also an identity, and protecting it requires both understanding science and also understanding the economic and the social inclusion. And lastly, it will also build a climate resilient community. Coffee communities is a shared responsibility from the consumers to producers, and all the system involved is a shared responsibility. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alexis. Yeah, wonderful. I think we have very insights from the ground, representing by Alexis. You have very, how can I say, work from the grassroots level, like work closely with the female farmers who are indigenous group, right, in the Philippines, and we hear their life through you. So thank you so much for raising awareness about gender equality, climate impact to the coffee farmers in the Philippines. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Alexis. All right. Now we finished all presentations from our speakers. I'd like to take a little short break, maybe just 10 minutes, if you are okay, to go get some coffee, or drink more or stretching your body, and then come back, and then we're gonna have a lot of discussion together. We're gonna open the section to the participants to join as well. Okay, everyone, welcome back to our webinar, and this is the panel discussion. I'd like to invite all speakers and maybe all participants as well. If you are comfortable, please turn on your camera so that we can have a nice, friendly chat among ourselves. Okay, if you are comfortable, but if not, please feel free to turn off camera. Yeah. All right. Maybe start from chit chat. We have Alexis here. We have Yutinus, Kun Kamonwat, our three speakers, and Kun Pochamarn also still here from the early morning. Thank you so much for still being with us. And Francie, of course, and Pikita. Thank you. Pikita raised so many good questions in the chat box. Both about carbon neutrality, low carbon approach in our coffee supply chain, and also another good question about the climate adaptation in terms of enhancing or promoting new variety in coffee, like Liberica as well. Yeah. Okay. Maybe we can start. Okay. Eugenus would like to say something, please.
Yeah, I will share just a little bit about, because this question from Thida Wongsa, I believe it's not directly to me, but it's for everyone, about the climate resilience capable species and market future, because talking about a market future and species is something about more about value chains, in the market. But in terms of climate resilience and adaptations, I believe the strategy, policy, rules, everything gonna be the same with the other coffee. I believe that. So we don't need to change or shift to the specific for Liberica, but for all coffee, because the problem in the value chain gonna be the same. But quite interesting for me is how to develop a premium coffee from Liberica coffee. Yes, we can, but do you know why it's very important for Liberica for our groups, especially from Asia? Because Liberica only in Asia, Southeast Asia. So it is growing a specific area, and also the market also big in even though in Asian. And this type of coffee, Liberica and Excelsa, doesn't have future markets, meaning they don't have standard. Now, if you look after the trading based on commercial coffee, they have two they have two we call it gate price, New York C and also London C for Robusta and for Arabica. And if you learn about ICO, International Coffee Organizations, the coffee they have trading, they compare it into 4 specific compartment. First, 3 Arabica and 1 Robusta. The other Arabica is a Brazilian nature, Colombian mild, and also other mild. But for Liberica and Excelsa, is not on their it's not their concern. So meaning we don't have such a standard. If we don't have standard, we can make a standard. So our groups in concerning to the climate change, adaptations, and everything will be the gateway from this coffee. We can promote this coffee into the global markets as a standard, so we can beat our standard. That's the good thing that I believe that we can decide it. I mean we can start with these groups.
Okay, thank you, Eutinus. I like to do like this. We have many good questions in the chat box, and also I would like to, which are mostly about climate mitigation, how to make low carbon or carbon neutrality in our coffee supply chain, right? But I also would like to add the content or the question about climate adaptation and the equality, like gender equality among farmers also. So let me begin by, of course, we give focus on climate resilience, no? So many questions from our discussion and also our participants would like to know how to upscale the best practice that Indonesian and Thailand have done in terms of making coffee supply chain decarbonized. How to make it bigger, higher, wider impact, like a national scale or even regional scale. Please give us some ideas about that, and what could we contribute, like in terms of we need a resource, what do we need to, who are the people that we need to bring in order to be part of our big project, big initiative to scale up low carbon initiative, in coffee supply chain. Okay, maybe Eutinus, you look quite, you are still thinking about the answer
No,
deeply,
because
right?
In my experience so far, all our what do you call our component, our variable like a gender, everything is already in coffee. So indeed we need to scaling up. Yes, it's true. But also when we are talking about the coffee carbon neutrality, it is still under development. For Indonesia, the kita has been raised cost burden. Yes, if it is coming with the cost for farmers and cooperatives, they will resist. But what I'm doing now with the trio company, which provide monitoring tools and equipment for land use and everything, but also we design inside project. So by such a project, we put some we joint cooperation, partnership with the cooperative who are willing to have a such a project to create a carbon building. And by such a project, in that inside project, also in this project, including the gender first improvement of the agricultural practices, processing practices, gender, and also reforestations. Of course, this is coming with the terms and conditions. And first, we need to find and figure which the buyer or investor who are willing to invest their money, especially if they have related to business the coffee, that will be very important. So this is what I'm doing now, but still in progress in the first stage. So we have already agreed to continue this project. So by this project, I believe if we could create individually or as a groups, in collective, it will improve all the Asians. But yes, who are willing to invest, that's gonna be very important. It's finding, right? But we are done now. We could do it in a small scale because my partner Trio is as a provider. They are a provider based in German, but they are also marketplace for carbon. This is very important because the carbon offset will be refinancing to the farmers, right? So meanings that they bring benefit financially to the farmers. Of course, we cannot do it straight away in Indonesian level or even province level. Even though the Trio, my partner, they cannot do it. That's why they need me or my company to responsible in building relationship with the cooperative. So I believe it's certain sets of in setting project, even though it's only small scale, they'll be scaling up automatically if people or cooperative or community or coffee sector will see the benefit. So we started with small project. That's what I'm thinking now.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for clear answer. We need to make people acceptance as well and find the investor who are willing to invest. And it's not just a short-term investment, but this has to be long-term investment. Okay. Eutinus, thank you. Back to Kun Gamonwat. Could you share us about Thailand case again? You present so many interesting case and model that Bond Cafe have done in terms of decarbonizing. Any ideas how to scale up and which approach should we highlight? Solar cell roasting machine, agroforestry, or how can I say, sustainable biodegradable cups. Yeah. Which one that you want to highlight and scale up?
For now, we have the urgent problem about grow up the coffee because the extreme climate now have to make the big damage to the coffee farmer of just not only Thailand, but for now, if we input the all data to talk with the big party or to talk with our customer or our consumer, talk a lot with this the very urgent of crisis. And if they have some of information, they wake up, and if they wake up, they need to put something into back to the farmer to increase the potential to need coffee survive because they need to drink the coffee, right? And if they had to a plan to push off that potential, maybe the farmer need to know, if for now the full stand of grow up the coffee, it cannot make the coffee tree survive, they change to multi-crop or they change to the shade grow. And if so many of cafe in Thailand, if they know about it, you can use the waste of coffee. It's like a coffee powder. It's like a coffee ground. That is like the junk go to the just go to the the trust. But if they know they can make that waste and go back to the farmer and put some knowledge to give the farmer to make the good fertilizer by use the like plant science or something for agriculture. We have some of district agriculture office to help the farmer to use that waste to increase the good quality of fertilizer. I think it's the like a is like a whole of many of party can be make the social of uh coffee in industry is make the good together is like something for is really long time. It's like a Lana Coffee Hub or Chiang Mai มืองกาแฟ or something like that. We have joy together to make the small party to make the big party. If they know to how they can help for the good way or make the sustainable of coffee solution or something. Yeah.
Okay, let me raise question from Pikita. One of her good question about the biochar usage. What do you think in terms of if we can promote more of the biochar production with coffee as a material to produce biochar? Will it be a good initiative that we can promote to the nationwide for the Thailand and maybe Indonesia and Philippines too? Yeah.
For me, in the biochar is like a good of keep the soil material to increase the increase the potential of fertilizer into the soil, right? And I don't know how about the government they promote or have like the teach the farmer to make the biochar by themselves. I don't have the information about it. Pihita, can you talk about this?
Okay, so I can share in the case of Thailand right now. Actually, biochar in terms of carbon market. Okay, so in terms of carbon market, if you would like to certify the carbon credit that you get from anything, you need to follow the standard methodologies, right? From Gold Standard, Vera, and in Thailand we have T-Ver by TGO and also Premium T-Ver, right? But actually, right now TGO has been developing the methodology for biochar. Okay. But in practice, there is this quite innovative company called Happy Grounds. Happy Grounds also already produced carbon credits from biochar in Venice city of Bangkok and then sell the carbon credits to Singapore for offsetting or whatever. So they used Gold Standard and Vera Standard for that. But anyway, in Thailand, I think we have tremendous potential for biochar from agricultural waste and also as well as for coffee waste as well as I used to be with Hucop company, right, ของญี่ปุ่นนะคะ and she's already produced biochar from coffee husk and all the waste, and along with that pyrolysis process, we also have the wood vinegar, which could be used as sort of the insect repellent sort of stuff. So, but that is more like a lab scale. She tried it with some community, but still, because back then and even now, we don't have the methodology for biochar, right? In order to add the value to the low carbon coffee, already low carbon, and then add the value as the benefit sharing from carbon credit from biochar. Back then we couldn't still do, we cannot do it yet, but right now I see the opportunity. But the challenge is we are working with smallholders, a number of smallholders, so it's different from the project from energy or transportation sector that we have the mega project. Once you implement it, the capex, the capital investment is large. When you invest it, it's there, right? But this thing is for smallholder, same as for actually GIZ is quite agri-food cluster is quite big on rice. We work with a lot of smallholder. But in terms of adding the value to low carbon coffee by having carbon credit out of it, we would need some sort of aggregator, like someone who aggregates this carbon credit from the smallholder farmers, such as could be BAAC, right? The Bank of Agriculture and Agricultural Cooperatives. Yeah, and I think that is remain the challenge that GIZ Thailand has been exploring the opportunity. But it could be possible, but it got to be systemized. It will be costly because we still have to hire the verifying body and here and there, but it could go together. We could add low value to low carbon coffee along with carbon credit as sort of additional benefit sharing.
Okay,ค่ะ.
Thank you,ค่ะ.
Thank you,ค่ะ, Victoria, for sharing the insights,ค่ะ. Okay, Francie.
Yes, thank you. Very interesting discussion. We cover many topics. I would like to ask about consumer awareness, because there was Kun Kamunwat presentation about low carbon coffee when it presented to a cup and then people drink. Maybe for everyone to discuss, what do you think about the consumer awareness in Southeast Asia? Will this thing sell well or not? I mean, like maybe for Western market in Europe, in US, maybe this thing is easy to sell. But what about our region in Southeast Asia? Because I'm coming from Indonesia, right? So people, the consumer are quite sensitive about price point. So about the price of the coffee, then it's a bit expensive, then nobody will buy. And also there is a trend that people tend to drink instant coffee just for the caffeine hits, so what about the awareness? And then later the follow-up would be like, how could we increase the awareness of consumer awareness in Southeast Asia about low carbon coffee or like climate friendly coffee product? Thank you.
Can I answer the questions?
Yes, please.
Thank you, guys. I just want to share questions. Awareness. Indonesia, I believe our customer is really aware. Important for Indonesia now. We are the 8th biggest in the world coffee consumer. And also awareness is not just something that we have to put on the text. When we also government of Indonesia really aware and will put text on our consumer, but also government needs to campaign about this awareness, really campaign. And Indonesia, I believe, despite the many weaknesses, I see some good point of Indonesian point that really they put it on people's mind, of customer mind, but how important climate change and also carbon, etc. This is the reasons why I believe Indonesia is really put awareness, and also customer Indonesia is really aware. For example, just coincidence that I have still hold my ticket, my train ticket. See? This one ticket. Can you see the ticket?
It's blurred a bit.
It's blurred. Okay. I will put it up. I put it in the clear
Chat box.
not blurred. Yeah.
Oh, you can share.
This one. Yep. You see?
Oh yeah, we
how
see.
How much CO2? How much CO2 we recorded by using train? This one CO2, right?
Yeah,
CO2.
200 kilogram.
Yeah. Yeah. Meaning that our government is already campaign about the awareness of the climate change and everything by put how much carbon that we create. This is in our ticket. This is just coincidence that I have approved that our government already are aware on the carbon. But yes, still we still have a gap the implementations. I believe previous speaker already mentioned about the monitoring. Yes, Indonesia is still weak in monitoring. The last accidents disaster, flooding, and also it's because they do deforestation without our control, our government control. But I'm very happy. I'm glad that our governments already quick response on this. So they will punish the company that do kind of create this disaster. Yes, some say that it's because of climate change. Yes, it's climate change. But if you didn't do deforestation, that the flooding will not come this much. Okay, yeah, we cannot avoid it already, right? You see in the televisions how they logging coming with the flooding. But this is something embarrassing for me. But the point that I have raised now that our government is already a campaign about the awareness of our carbon that we produce on every our daily life, including in the train ticket.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Very amazing initiative from the Indonesian government. Quite forward. Moving toward climate neutrality, no? Sorry, carbon neutrality in your country. I don't know that government of Indonesia is so strict with the reducing greenhouse gas emissions in everyday daily life activities like this. Yeah, good to see the example from Indonesia. Okay, we have only 10 minutes left. So how about we move toward climate adaptation and gender equality, gender responsive approach in our coffee sector. I know that Alexis is only female, one of the few female people, women who work on coffee sector and also work closely to the indigenous group in the Philippines. Right? May I ask you further about the situation at the moment about women rights, how they gain access to the loan, to the credits, to the education, to the training, and even to the land ownership in the Philippines? Is there any policy from the government try to address the gender gap between female and male farmers in the Philippines? Yeah.
All right, thank you for that question. I just also want to support Justin's presentation earlier. So in the Philippines, I will also present something so that. But in the Philippines, we have GCash. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but it's a mobile app that you can pay your bills online. So instead of going to like payment centers, you just pay it online, and then GCash will convert or calculate the carbon, the CO2, no, and it will translate into carbon credit, and they're also helping farmers. So you can choose to plant coffee. There are also mangroves, but now it's error page, but I cannot show you. But it's a one way of also, but it's a private company, not a government initiative. But yeah, and for that question is, for now we have about we have the Magna Carta of Women, and we ensure that 5% of the local budget are dedicated for gender and development. But it doesn't end there. It's really into monitoring what are the activities being done by government. Because it's a shame that in some cases, because we have a lot of problems in the local government unit, these budget are not being used on what its real intention is. For some, they'll just use it for outings. But I hope that it will have proper monitoring and how gender and development being budget being used. So we also have the Philippine Commission on Women, where it ensures that government agencies or local government include gender lens in terms of their projects, in terms of their grassroots community extensions. And yeah, in terms of, but I will also like to also share how we're going to also intensify local, working with the local cooperatives, because it's good to have someone together with you in terms of this fight, this justice that we have to receive as well, in terms of the representation of women in the local council. Well, not just representation of women, but also substantial budget probably, and their own targets, And what I also think of is having a mentoring, among coffee farmers with other coffee farmers, so that there will be more inclusive and collaborative work, around the grassroots community. That's from my end. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Alexis. We also have the workshop with the ethnic female farmers in Chiang Mai last year. We have over 30 participants, female farmers participation in that workshop, and they talk about the inequality that is inherited by, that is embedded in the belief, the traditional norms, the customs of their ethnicities, make them have different, how can I say, make them have gender inequality within. And then when the climate change happen, the climate impacts exacerbate the gender inequality among themselves, in the same ethnic group. Yeah. We would like to learn from you more, and maybe the case from Indonesia and Thailand also. Any things that you want to add in terms of gender responsive approach that we can conduct across the region. If you know any best practice that has gender responsive, from Indonesia, or even from Thailand, please share quickly if you want to jump into this section. I know you are men, but you also experience female farmers, or maybe the situation in in Indonesia is different. You have good gender equality between the farmers. How's the situation?
For me in Thailand, about the family or farmer experience, the woman is like is it's not a worker. It's something like who support the man. Or I know the farmer in North Thailand. They also the two hue grader both in the family, and maybe the woman is, and she go to like the marketing supporter to go to every coffee event to sell or product from that farmer, our farm. And for the man guy, he is like a production back to send the order for support all of the farm production. It's not just only the coffee. They have some cascara or everything, or they promote about it farm visit. Because if the everything is supported, good farming increase the quality of coffee. And if the consumer know this, and that farm is really yummy, very, very good quality of coffee, they need to know how they grow up the coffee, or how they make the technology or something to increase the quality of coffee. Yeah, that's why for me it's about the gender is in Thailand is not it's okay. That I don't care in other country na. In Thailand is okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's a general understanding that Thailand has good gender equality, you know. But if we dig deep into ethnicity as well, then we see some gaps, yeah, between man and female, man and woman, yeah. Anyway, Pikita, raise your hand, ค่ะ
Yes, it's more of a question ค่ะ actually to พี่โอนะคะคุณพจมาน my GIZ colleague regarding the I mean I have experience with Arabica in the Highland, right? That is more like different social setting. But in terms of Robusta in industrial scale, I would love to learn about this social inclusiveness as well as the environmental and social safeguard issue ค่ะ in the industrial scale for Robusta in Southeast Asia. If you may share with us ค่ะพี่โอ
Thank you ค่ะคุณพจมาน is still there, right? Okay. Thank you
Yes,
ค่ะ
yes, thank you. Actually, for Thailand, I think we have no issue about gender equality, and even women is play key role and play more role on leader or manager of all. I mean, all mostly sector, even all farmers, not only in coffee but also for other agricultural crops in terms of also manager, also take care of the financial management for the household and even on farm input those kind of things. So I think in coffee we don't have any issue, but for Robusta case, I think for about and right, this is not the issue about gender equality. And yeah, I think actually for Thailand we don't have any issue, but we can highlight that women play a key role. And in the training also, most likely the man, they have to work in farm, and then they send the wife to be trained, and then those kind of things. And then they can transfer the knowledge, and they enjoy when you also observe from the photos that we share. And even not only farmers, also the extension officer and also extension worker in our project in Nestle and also in provincial office. Yeah, most are women. We don't have issue. Then I think we can but we can strengthen and encourage their strong the to support this aspect.
Okay. We have quick question from another friend from Myanmar. He would like to know about gender equality in the downstream stage, like in the retail, in the cafe. Anyone wanna have quick answer on that?
It's for about the cafe and about the roaster. For me, they said that we don't have the gender problem. It's like it's maybe the manager of cafe is the mostly of women. Yeah. Yeah. And about the grocery, yeah, some the if you have some of the big grocery have to heavy of weight of coffee to install them to grocery. But for me, they help together like a team. Yeah. It's not
Like we usually see a couple, no? Set up the cafe together, work together, yeah.
yes.
And okay,ค่ะ, thank you. We need to wrap up a little bit. So we have one last question to ask everyone. We are preparing for the next year event as well, and we hope to welcome everyone again for the next meeting or next initiative. No, just quick question and ask everyone together, including Francie, what can we collaborate next as a regional collaboration? Yeah, we have a lot of emphasis on the climate mitigation in our coffee supply chain. Please think about social justice in coffee industry as well, and how we can move this uh, knowledge that we have among private civil society and private sector to be part of the government policy, either at the national level or provincial level. So is it difficult? What would you like to do next together, collectively?
I
Anyone?
mean,
Yes.
thank you, Ajahn Wen. I think as a network, we need to keep the momentum with the communication, regular meetings, and next year, let's try to revive the in-person meeting, because actually this year we plan to go to Indonesia from last year in Sarawak, right? But due to the this year funding cuts and others, so it's not possible. But I think it's also good to kind of keep the network alive by stay in touch, contact. That's why in our office in Heinrich-Böll-Stiftung, we started this year the web dossier. We invited contribution. Kun Kamonwat, Alexi, Pak Justinus also contribute an article. There will be video, there will be photo essay. So also I invite you, if you know someone who works on coffee and have a good contribution, have good story, can also refer to me and then I will contact them to contribute. So the idea this online platform will also keep kind of our website to keep the network alive. That is one. Second, regular meeting. Third, if you have idea for training, we just need to find the funding and co-organizer, right? And but I think this kind of webinar is good. Then at least we still keep in touch every month if there is any update or for coordination or share of information. Thank you. I also share the link on the chat box, but also please visit our website, th.boell.org for the web dossier. Thank you.
Thank you, Francie. พี่กมลวัฒน์ค่ะ
In next year, we have the World Coffee event in Thailand, in Bangkok. And if you know the first time we have the Mr. Michai, he is the Barista Association in Thailand. They have it's like a host to make this coffee event in Thailand. Maybe if we contact him to like a mini or something is like a present or seminar on World Coffee event in Thailand. Maybe it's possible to make the consumer agree with the crisis.
Do you know when is the World Coffee event?
Half year, not sure. It's June or something. I'm not sure.
Okay.
พี่
Middle
กี
of
ตาร์
the
รู้ไหมครับ
next year.
เดือนไหนนะครับ
พี่กีตาร์May 7 to 9 ค่ะ from the chat box.
อ๋อแล้วก็because maybe they need to like a exhibition inside the event. Yeah, and we need something to share them.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Eutinus and Alexis, พี่กีตาร์ you can join too นะคะ Any ideas what to collaborate next year?
Okay,
Yeah,
let me join as a representative of GIZ. Right before it's more like a policy scholar นะคะ Right now, as a representative of GIZ, we have this project, which is actually it's a rights project. It is the integrated and sustainable right landscape project. which actually is pay particular attention to rice, but actually it's a landscape. So the two provinces that we focused on is Chiang Rai and Ubon Ratchathani. One is the upper north of Thailand, and the other one is the upper northeast of Thailand. Okay, so on this right landscape, so what happened is that right now the trend of the study is what so-called bioregion or ecological regional study, which is like in Thai is Phuminivet ka. So when you study right landscape in the highland or in the plateau, you will have to look at the whole ecological system and as well as the community-driven development study. So this is two approach that has been using for this kind of, the community development study. And since in Chiang Mai, it's unavoidable to include coffee Arabica into that kind of study along with, the highland rights. So this is one of the opportunity that we could collaborate somehow with, and we are looking forward right now to develop about 10 projects coming out of proposal actually to send to the Environmental Fund of Thailand to develop this kind of highland project that is the bioregional study integrated with everything ecological study, which include coffee for sure. Yeah, so that is the one of the way that we could collaborate starting immediately.
Yeah. Okay, that's quite high number. 10 projects will come from
proposal, but
proposal.
it is up to environmental fund how many projects would be granted to us. But we have been working hard and working with ONAP. ONAP is the Office of
ONAP,
Natural Resource, and who has been caring for this environmental fund, Thailand's environmental fund.
And hope you get all 10 projects successful.
And we would love the civil society and local institute to be the one who submit the proposal as well. We would love to see that because we don't want the GIZ to involve much except for more of the facilitator. We would like to facilitate that. That is our role.
And the project that you are applying, is it going to be multi-level, multinational, multiple countries or only in Thailand country?
As of now, it would be in Thailand, but then it could be applicable. Actually, Kun Pochamarn has left already, unfortunately. But Kun Pochamarn is actually she is the focal point for ASEAN agriculture policies. So we have the linkage. So we could make the linkage. Like it could be the policy study for the Highland coffee, but we have to use other name like Highland right landscape, but actually it's include coffee. And then we could have sort of the case study, propose the policy recommendation for Highland landscape, including coffee in parentheses. That could be possible. So I guess we as GIZ, we are open to further discussion.
Wonderful, wonderful. We would like to see this ongoing, and then we have build more wider networks now to collaborate to make bigger impact. All right, I need to wrap up because time is already finished. How about last words from our three presenters? Anything you wanna give us at the final? Yeah, please feel free. Who want to start? Any volunteer? Yeah.
Maybe I can start a bit just to kind of boost the three speaker. I think what I learned today. Thank you again for everyone. Also to Dr. Thida Chaiyapa. Coffee is not just a drink, it's our identity, it's our culture, especially in Southeast Asia. We are the coffee bean belt. And with climate change, I think in Chiang Mai, we learned that the coffee belt will expand because it's too hot. You cannot grow coffee in the coffee belt anymore. And we have to take this into consideration and to act. From our role, our organization, we contribute anything that we can do. So we can still continue drink coffee and our next generation know what is good coffee Thank you.
Yeah, thank you ค่ะ Okay, now our speaker. Yes, please.
No, I mean, nice food for
Oh.
Francine. Nice food for Francine. Thanks.
Maybe Kunton.
Okay. I think for now the consumer or the customer of cafe, they don't know about this message. They just know about it. Okay, I have the good coffee now, but they don't know if we ask just don't like the coffee people. The all of many party to know about it. If we don't put something or make something, maybe in the our son or next generation is not have the coffee to drink. Yes, but for now they don't know what is happening. I think we need to give this message go to the another party or go to the big scale. But I don't sure. That's why maybe I think the coffee event in Thailand is next year is the answer. A good answer.
Okay ค่ะ thank you ค่ะ World Coffee next year will be the big turning point, to raise big awareness to the general public on what's going on in our coffee sector. Thank you ค่ะพี่ต้น last one.
Probably from my end, I just want to highlight, probably we as like coming from an NGO is to ensure that GEDC or the gender equality, disability and social inclusion can be injected or could be considered, will always be considered in the projects that we do, in like the proposals that we submit, so that like in the coffee, we consider GEDC in our endeavors. So that's from my end. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we already have heard a lot from Yutinus. Maybe you want to skip? Or you want to say last comment, please? Yeah, give us a final remark.
I'm very happy.
Oh.
I'm very happy already.
Okay, thank you ค่ะ Yeah, for me, I love to have this platform ongoing again, continuously, and then we see more new faces, no? I mean, we keep the same face, and then we add more new face to join us in our network, no? Especially right now, we have good numbers of private sector and NGOs and scholars. Next, we need to involve other stakeholders like government officials to join, and because they still have a crucial role in terms of policy design, policy advocacy. Yeah, we need to work more with the government people too. Yeah. Okay, พี่กีตาร์ค่ะ
So I have a discussion earlier with actually Noe John that this one should be a round table, and we should keep it going and going. It's like round table on whatever coffee, ASEAN coffee policy. It's up to you, but it could be a round table.
Good.
Yeah.
And we hope to work with GIZ too next year นะคะ or next year. Okay ค่ะ thank you everyone. I think we have very good discussion. Thank you for wake up early in the morning of Saturday, the weekend, and I hope you enjoy our conversation and keep networks ongoing ค่ะ Thank you so much for today and all support ค่ะ
Thank you.